drinking some water can help with the dizziness. Oh, and lying flat on your back helps too.
Thank you, Bennett. Seems like you really know your stuff.
Well, when life gives you lemons.
Bennett, weren't you feeling dizzy too? Stop pushing yourselves, both of you. Get some rest. We'll continue when you've gathered your energy.
Eula might come off as a little frosty, but she takes caring for her friends super seriously, more than anyone else I know. Every time I see that look on her face, I'm just like, ah, stop staring at me.
Traveler, I know what that look means. What's on your mind? Maybe seasoned veterans have an instinct for it. I sense it too. Something seems to have changed, but I can't confirm for sure. It could be difficult to verify. It might be imprudent to speculate out loud, but I believe you know what I am referring to. Traveler, I think... you...
Albedo, let's...
It's not over yet.
What in the world was that thing? One moment it was human, the next it was a plant!
Is everyone all right?
We're fine, but can you please tell us what's going on? I don't understand.
I take it this monster is whom I had the pleasure of meeting last time.
Correct. As you might have guessed, this is a mutated whopper flower. An extremely rare kind.
But can whopper flowers turn into humans?
Not typically, but conditions on Dragonspine are far from typical. Perhaps the dragon's blood seeped into the land, then was passed to the monsters via the ley lines, accelerating their rate of mutation.
How could that happen?
This mountain is home to the remains of Durin, the venomous dragon. If there is anywhere in the world one might expect life to do unfathomable things, it would most likely be here. Durin was an artificially created life form. Its existence is nothing short of a miracle, and proof of countless possibilities. In other words, this mountain we stand on is a cradle of life's profoundest mysteries. A vast and terrifying hotbed of possibilities.
The avalanche. It must have been the work of this imposter.
Agreed. All the other troubles you faced on the way down could also have been its handiwork. My guess is that it was targeting everyone that I've had contact with.
Right, I forgot all about that.
It's not inconceivable.
But what was its purpose? Was it just trying to get rid of us?
I have a preliminary hypothesis on this. Whopper flowers are masters of mimicry, and those we encounter in the wild often appear in the vicinity of the plants they impersonate. In other words, the whopper flower likely has an instinct to replicate and replace. As a plant, it will disguise itself as another plant and infiltrate the group, hiding among them for cover. The plant being imitated has no way to detect or fight back against this behavior. But when it disguises itself as a human...
It wanted to replace you and infiltrate our group?
Yes. Maybe it created the avalanche to get rid of us. I predicted this eventuality, so I availed myself of the avalanche to hide and lure it out. It was watching us the whole time, and when it saw that I had disappeared, its instinct was to take my place. At that point, its disguise was complete, and its next move was to hunt its prey.
Yes, that's exactly how whopper flowers operate.
So when it approached and attacked Joel, what was that? A trial run?
Perhaps. Or maybe it enjoyed posing as a human, and wanted to experience what it felt like to be human.
We're fortunate to have discovered it in time. I think the Traveler was the first person other than Albedo to notice something was wrong.
Traveler, how could you tell the real me and my imposter apart?
I want to know too. I had no idea the other guy was an imposter. They looked exactly the same to me.
I see. It goes to show how difficult it is to impersonate a human. This mutant whopper flower tried its best to replicate the original exactly, but still managed to miss some details.
Unbelievable. To think that Dragonspine creates such terrifying possibilities.
Anyway, at least we won in the end. It looks like my method did work after all. I used up all the bad luck, and the good luck finally came through.
About that. If you're referring to having fallen down the mountain and avoided injury, well, that's because I was secretly protecting you.
Huh? Well, that still counts as good luck to me.
Yes, that's not an unreasonable way of looking at it. Okay. We've been delayed long enough. Time to move on.
Yeah, let's go!
Cyrus doesn't seem to be here. He must have headed up the mountain. Let's wait for him here.
Amber, are you feeling better?
Yep, all good now. Nothing to worry about.
I don't know what I'd do without you guys. If not for you, I'd probably still be locked up in that cage. I really want to thank you all properly, but I can't think how at the moment.
Huh? You must be pretty used to being on the receiving end of people's kindness by now, though, surely. You probably need it often enough, given your... situation.
Come on, don't put it like that. Sure, plenty of people have shown me kindness before, but that doesn't mean I will ever take it for granted. No matter how many times people help me out in life, I will never forget any of them.
Well, instead of repaying those who helped you, perhaps you could help others yourself. Everyone meets others in need from time to time. By choosing to be there for them, you're passing the kindness you received onto others.
Yep, you're right. That's what I've always tried to do, and will always continue to do. Right. And when Cyrus gets back, I'll find some way to help him out too.
This has been quite an eventful day.
Yeah, it has. It's really hit me how tired I am now that I've started to relax.
I need to rest. Everyone, please excuse me for a while.
Yeah, I need to get some water and maybe a piece of fruit. Once I'm rested up, I need to get back to being an instructor again.
Well, it looks like the curse of the mountaineers who couldn't get off the mountain is finally broken. Feels like an action-packed chapter has come to a close. Shall we find somewhere to rest and chat too?
Why not? Then please, come with me. You sensed something too, didn't you? Then let's go.
Huh? Are you going back to your camp again? Paimon thought maybe we could talk here. Okay. Might as well come with you.
Good. Shall we set off right away? Sorry for bringing you back here once again. Some topics are best discussed in private.
Is this about the imposter?
That's right. I have to say, Traveler, I'm very surprised you noticed the difference between me and the imposter. Yes, this mark. Perhaps it's where it all began.
Ooh, sounds like the beginning of a big story. Keep going.
Well, I can't deny that what I'm about to say does sound like something from a children's storybook. So, what do you think this diamond-shaped mark means?
A tattoo? A crest? Something else?
No. Consider it a birthmark. Have you ever seen an intricate glass ornament and wondered how it was made? Well, one method for crafting with glass is a technique known as glass blowing. Glass blowing is not a widely known art in Teyvat. For this reason, glassware made in this way is usually very expensive. As the name implies, glass blowing involves blowing air into a hole, much like blowing up a balloon. This type of glassware is known for having a pontal mark at the point where the blowpipe was inserted, where the hole was sealed at the very end. This mark is a sign that the item was crafted by a human hand.
Sounds kind of amazing.
It is a wondrous and beautiful art form. Alice says that these marks are seen as proof of the maker's fine handiwork, the only flaw in an otherwise perfect work of art. My mark is something similar to this. The difference between synthetic and natural life lies in the directional flow of the life force. The energy of a natural life form flows out from within. That's why flower buds bloom and curled leaves unfold. And it's the very reason we watch and wonder at blossoming flowers. Creating life artificially, on the other hand, involves, to a certain extent, the introduction of an external source of energy into the embryonic life form. When the hole where the life force was infused is sealed at the end, it leaves a mark not dissimilar to the pontal mark in blown glasswares. The alchemical substance drips and spreads out in all directions, resulting in this rather ingenious diamond shape.
Wow, so that's where it came from.
This mark is a sign of my artificial origins, and proof of my imperfection as a human. I presume that the imposter intentionally avoided replicating this mark, so as not to become less than perfect himself. You are fundamentally different from other people. I have few qualms about sharing my secrets with you. Just as Paimon said, it all sounds like a story. Even if you were to tell anyone else, they would regard it as nothing more than a tall tale. The transcendent and miraculous are not the only things to which human beings aspire. They pursue the everyday, the ordinary, to a far greater extent than I would have ever imagined. People like to believe that those who are thoroughly different from themselves could only ever exist in stories. It makes things much easier. Or, in other words, all the unfathomable things we've seen recently would make good material for a novel. I have friends who write novels. If they wrote this story, it'd probably be even more complex.
Making up stories is easy. Even Paimon can do that.
Oh, I didn't know you had that kind of talent.
Paimon's the best guide in Teyvat. Making up stories is a piece of cake.
In that case, how about we have a storytelling contest? We can base our stories on the events of the last few days.
Sounds great! But we still have to help out the Adventurers Guild.
I understand. Creativity is something that cannot be rushed. Take your time, and come back when you have found some inspiration. We'll see whose story is more compelling.
Deal! Okay, we'll regroup with the Adventurers Guild for now.
Sure. My story. Yes, I should have known. Master's failed specimen in the dragon's belly. This is where the story truly begins. If we switched places, if you were the survivor, then as the abandoned experiment, the failure of the primordial human project, I'd want to replace you too. I would replicate your appearance, study your alchemy, and create miraculous life forms to divert your attention. I would wait for the right moment, then dispose of you in the Traveler, the sole person to have known your secret. And then, I could finally experience the joy of being brought into the world.
Oh,
Traveler, Paimon. I suppose your story is ready.
yep. How about you? Do you need some more time?
No need. I am also ready to tell my story.
Paimon calls dibs. Paimon first!
Please, go ahead.
Okay, here goes. Once upon a time, there was an evil researcher who went into the mountains and did a crazy experiment on whopper flowers to transform their appearance. After a lot of pain and suffering, the whopper flowers finally took on a human form. Then they stood by the side of the mountain to wait for unsuspecting bypassers. To whoever spoke to them, they would ask some questions such as, "Who am I? Who are you?" If the bypasser got the wrong answer, the last sound they'd make would be a yelp before the whopper flower ate them alive in one bite.
Ooh, truly frightening.
What the? You two aren't scared at all! Don't go nitpicking, okay? If you didn't like the story, go write your own!
In other words, the whopper flowers would ambush and then completely replace their victims.
And then what? Go back to where the person lives? Enter their home? Eat their whole family? Paimon made up this story, but now Paimon's the one who's scared by it.
It's a good story. Oh, may I write it down? I may bring it up in future conversations.
What for? Just to scare people with?
Yes.
You've got a real mean streak, Albedo.
Mine is a little longer than yours. It starts with an alchemist. A great alchemist once created Subject 1. Subject 1 was her proudest achievement, and successfully blended into human society. No one ever would have thought that this friend of theirs was in fact a synthetic human. However, unbeknownst to Subject 1, the alchemist had tried the same experiment many times before he had come into being. Some of the rejects from failed experiments had been discarded, but had not died. Subject 2 was one such failed experiment. He was swallowed by a great dragon that came to rest upon a snow-swept mountain. Many years later, he was resurrected by the dragon's mysterious power. He saw all kinds of people on the mountain, including Subject 1, who had somehow miraculously blended in among them. Never in Subject 2's wildest imagination had he thought it possible for experimental life forms such as they to deceive everyone so successfully. He saw the way humans accepted Subject 1 as a friend, witnessed their affection as they addressed him by name. This was what Subject 2 wanted. Now, all that Subject 2 desired was to replace Subject 1 and take the joy of his existence for himself.
This is giving Paimon the chills. So scary.
Subject 2 began to unfold his plan. He stole Subject 1's books and notes, and studied all that Subject 1 had learned from the alchemist. Subject 2 was highly intelligent, and he learned quickly. He changed his face into an exact replica of Subject 1's face. Then, he found a plant with mimicry capabilities, and transformed it using dragon blood and alchemy. And so, not only did Subject 2 transform his own appearance to perfectly match that of Subject 1, he also created a third entity, Subject 3.
What? There's 3 of them now?
But Subject 2 wanted to become a perfected human. So, he erased a mark on both his and Subject 3's necks. For these marks were symbols of imperfection. In my view, it was probably a subconscious act, an instinct. He so desperately craved to become a perfect human being that he forgot something. Human beings are defined by their flaws. Subject 2's plan was meticulously crafted. Subject 3 would draw Subject 1's attention. After Subject 1 disposed of Subject 3, he would assume the threat had now disappeared and would let his guard down. The next moment that Subject 1 was alone, Subject 2 would make his move. He would eliminate Subject 1 and become the only one remaining. He would secretly replace the Subject 1 of everyone's memories and inherit his identity, residence, clothing, sword, name, and friends. People would have no idea that the individual they knew had become somebody else from one day to the next.
This is way too scary. Paimon's never gonna be able to trust anyone again.
But just before Subject 2 could carry out his plan, a unique stranger entered the mix. Subject 2 tried to make contact with this person, but found that they could somehow sense he was different from Subject 1. What's wrong? Are you scared?
What happened then? What happened to the stranger?
He became a new stage in Subject 2's plan. One more person that Subject 2 had to dispose of. It's as if there were 3 identical roses in a garden. Only one of the 3 was a fine specimen, while the other 2 were defective specimens that bore poisonous thorns. In all the world, only the gardener who tended to them could tell which was the good specimen. People do not like poisonous plants. Only a perfect rose can fetch a high price. If the inferior specimens wanted to conceal the fact of their worthlessness, they would have to take the gardener out of the picture, using their poisonous thorns. This is exactly what Subject 2 was thinking. So, he hid in the shadows and waited patiently. Maybe soon, he would get his chance to become truly human.
That was intense! So what happened after that? Did Subject 2's plan succeed? Paimon can't bear thinking about it.
Fortunately, it is just a story. And even in this story, Subject 2 did not succeed. But you can never let your guard down on Dragonspine. Monsters mutated with Durin's power and blood are also creatures of Rhine Daughter, just like me. You must beware of all such creatures. I'm glad to hear that. It's okay. I know what I am. You and I are both different, so there is no need for me to hide the truth from you. The only thing is that sometimes, when I think about how mighty the power of alchemy is, I feel so small. As beings who set foot in this world, how arrogant are we in desiring to control our destiny, and in desiring to create? Is creation an arrogant act, traveler? If not, why do we call the ones that created us and control us gods? If it is, then what qualifies us to call ourselves creators? How far must we take our reverence and respect, and what purpose does it serve? Nothing special, but whenever I think about it, I feel a twinge of grief.
Poor Albedo.
Hello? Traveler, are you here?
Hey, is that Amber?
Thought we might find you here.
We're here to deliver a message from Cyrus. There's gonna be a big event down at the base camp, and they want you there too, Traveler.
Winter camp is nearing its end. Apparently, even provisional instructors are required to attend.
Looks like we need to go, Albedo. Bye for now.
Then I won't keep you. I have some things to attend to here, so forgive me for not seeing you down.
Don't worry about it. There have been no issues getting up and down the mountain recently.
Is everyone ready? Let's not keep them waiting.
Sky.
Allow me to introduce Yozerv. He's Joel's father.
Dad, this is that traveler I was telling you about. The traveler's helped me out loads in the past, and this time we even built a snowman together.
Joel has told me everything about you. I can't thank you enough.
Wow, this is amazing! Wait a second. Why is Cyrus discreetly wiping tears away? And what is Pallid doing here?
Pallid is the hero of the hour this time. Go on, Pallid. Tell us what happened in your own words.
Okay. The weather was fine on that fateful day, and I had a feeling that Lady Luck was smiling down on me. So I trusted my gut and set off to explore somewhere new, somewhere dangerous. Because where there is great danger, there is also great treasure.
Why does this sound so hard to believe?
But I had only been away from the group for a short while when I fell down a slope and just started rolling.
Uh-oh. Did my bad luck rub off on him when we ran into each other on the mountain?
The place I fell to was somewhere I didn't recognize, and I'd sustained a few injuries. I remember thinking to myself, this is the worst luck I've ever had in my whole life. Then I met Yozerv. He'd heard the sound of me falling and came out to see what was going on.
Huh?
Wow, so it was completely by chance then.
I thought he must have been someone from the Adventurers Guild here for the event, but after a few words of conversation, it was clear that he was having memory problems. He didn't even know his own name. The temperature was freezing, and there was no time to deal with all that there and then, so I convinced him to come back to the camp with me and figure everything else out after we got there. We got back to the camp, ran into Joel, and the moment he saw him, he froze for a second with this completely stunned expression on his face, and then he started crying out, "Dad! Dad!" That's when Yozerv suddenly started to remember.
My memory has still not fully recovered, but Joel and his mother, they are the only ones that I will not, no, that I cannot forget.
Daddy.
Daddy's right here, Joel. Daddy's right here.
Yozerf, don't you remember anything else at all? The poor princess, feeding the foxes?
I'm sorry. I have no recollection. Maybe it's because of the head trauma. I'm not sure. I woke up and found myself covered in blood. My things were gone, and there was nothing to indicate who I was or how I got there. I crawled into a cave and settled in for a slow recovery. After my legs and feet were a little better, my hunting skills were what kept me alive.
Dad, I was so worried about you.
I'm all right now, Joel. Oh, don't cry. Daddy's not going anywhere. I'm here to stay.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
You know what, though? I definitely think my luck got worse after running into Benin on that mountain.
I knew it. I just...
No. I just meant if it weren't for you, there's no way I ever would have run into Yozerv on a mountain this huge. Besides, we got back safely, didn't we? So don't blame yourself. Maybe sometimes miracles can only happen when you get just unlucky enough.
Ballad. When did you become such a smooth talker, huh?
Huh? Am I? I was just telling the truth.
Oh, yeah. I want to say thank you to the Traveler, Uncle Cyrus, Auntie Eula, and Auntie Amber. Thanks, everyone. You all helped look after me, and I will always remember it. But I guess I can't take the snowman with me, or it'll melt once it leaves Dragonspine. It's such a shame.
Oh, I can help with that. One moment.
Huh? Eula?
Here, take this. It's powdered rime. Just add it to your snowman, and it will never melt.
Wow! Really? Oh, this is awesome! You're the best, Auntie Eula! Dad, I have an unmeltable snowman now! How cool is that?
How can I ever repay you all? Thank you all. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Dad, I want to go move the snowman. Can we do it now, please?
Okay, I'll be leaving with Joel now. I'm sure I'll see you all another day.
Very well, very well. It's time for Pallet and I to have another discussion concerning his breaches of adventurer discipline.
Huh? But Cyrus, I think I kind of made up for my mistakes this time, you know?
See you guys!
Oh, I made this for you and Amber. Think of it as a winter souvenir.
Aw, are you sure? This must be really important to you.
Come on now, just take it. No need to make such a fuss.
Wow! Now our snowman won't melt either! Great!
You're welcome. Just keep it. That's all I ask. Amber and I have some business to attend to now. See you later.
See you! Everyone's gone. Seems like they've all got their own stuff to do now. Oh! You know what? We've been on Dragonspine all this time, and somehow Paimon still forgot to ask Albedo about how to make a fruit juicifier machine that could keep the juice fresh. Maybe we should try Timaeus again. He does seem pretty eager to please after all.
Traveler and Paimon, what can I do for you? Wait a minute. You've got that mischievous look on your face. Oh, you're not still thinking about that ridiculous juicer thing, are you?
Timaeus, will you help us?
Well, if the Traveler isn't really interested, then, yeah, maybe I'll give this one a pass. It's just the weirdest request ever.
No, but Paimon's Sunsettias are gonna go to waste without it.
And the time it would take me to research something like that, I could probably pick those Sunsettias again 10 times over.
New research project, Timaeus? We meet again.
Oh, Albedo, thank goodness. So the situation is, Paimon wants a machine that can turn fruit into juice and keep the juice fresh. I mean, surely it's...
Majorly important, that's what it is. If you can manage to invent this, we'll never have to worry about fruit going bad ever again.
That's impossible.
Turning fruit into juice is not hard, but keeping it fresh is more difficult. But if you simply want to keep the fruit from rotting, there are many ways to achieve this. Right, Traveler?
What about his neck?
What's wrong? Is there something on my neck? From the look on your face, it's as if you thought I just played a practical joke on you that was in exceedingly poor taste.
Albedo, you were saying, how do you stop fruit from going bad?
Well, one way would be to bury your fruit on Dragonspine, where the snow never melts all year round.
But then Paimon won't be able to eat them!
You could always live on Dragonspine.
No, too cold for Paimon.
Or you can give the fruit to me, and I would take it to Dragonspine for you. But since you don't like the cold, you'd have to send someone else to pick them up when you want them. This is where you come in, Traveler.
Suddenly sounds a lot more feasible with other people doing all the work. Okay then, shall we go with that idea?
Fruit buried on Dragonspine will stay fresh for much longer. However, it is also possible that the fruit will sprout and grow into fruit trees. Who knows? Maybe the next time you visit, it will have grown into an orchard. You can water the trees, add fertilizer, and when they finally bear fruit, you will have some fresh sunsettias.
No way! Then Paimon will have to be a gardener. That's not the goal here.
Oh? Well, I don't think being a gardener is so bad.
Albedo! Stop trying to get your hands on Paimon's super sweet Sensitias!
It bothers you, does it?
Of course it bothers Paimon! They are the rarest, super duper sweetest Sensitias ever! And they're not for you!
Okay, but they're just Sensitias. I think you're only so attached to them because you don't have much fruit of this quality in your possession. When someone's pockets are full and their spirit is fulfilled, they don't easily fall prey to this kind of yearning.